everyone, this is a video for assignment 4-5. What the idea was for 4-5 is that students would complete 4-4 and then have the actual journal entries to use for 4-5. So 4-5 is going to ask you to use the journal entries that were for 4-4 and then post the amounts from the journal into the ledger and then create the balance sheet, or the trial balance, excuse me. So we do not have you guys doing 4-4. So for your actual homework, I give you 4-4A in the assignment tab. That way you can open it and use that information to successfully complete 4-5. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to open up the answer key and show just 4-4B so that you guys will have what you need to work through this problem with me. So let me pause the recording and pull that up for you. Okay, here is the general journal entries for 4-4B. So what we're going to do for the general ledger is we're going to fill out the information. We have to fill out each account and list the account number. So we'll go back to the book and it gives us the chart of accounts in 4-4. So you're going to need to look at 4-4 to complete the first part of the homework. So we're going to use the accounts listed. So we have cash. Cash is always going to be the first account listed. Then we're going to enter in the account number. The next one is going to be the bicycle parts. And then you're just going to do this with all of the accounts listed. I'm going to go through a couple more with you, and then I'm going to pause it and finish filling this out so that we're ready to go. Okay, now that I have the general ledger filled out, we can go back to the journal. So the first one is cash. We have it listed as a debit for $15,000, so we're going to put the date, October 1st. Oops. Post reference would be JP1, which is journal page 1. Debit $15,000. And then the balance is going to be $15,000. Here we're going to keep a running balance like you would in your checkbook. So you're going to have subtract or add after each transaction. So the next part of the transaction is an investment to capital for $15,000. So we're going to scroll down till we get to capital, enter the date of October 1st, JP1. Capital is an owner's equity, so it's increased with a credit. So essentially what we're doing is we are just copying exactly from the journal to the ledger. So it's a bit tedious, but you need to make sure that you go slowly and follow everything. It may help to print the journal out so you can just check mark once you've recorded something so you don't forget anything. So rent expense is on October 2nd, still JP1, $300. Okay, then we're going to go up to cash. We don't need to enter the month again because it's the same month. So enter the date, and then it's a credit for $300. So we're going to find the balance. So we're going to take 15,000 minus 300, which is 14,700. Again, even if it was easy mental math, you may want to go ahead and pull out the calculator so that you don't accidentally make a mistake. If you do make a mistake, it does take a while to find your error. So the next transaction is bicycle parts. So since we haven't used this transaction yet, we're going to enter month, day, the post reference, and it is $2,000. And then accounts payable. Again, we haven't used this account yet, so we're going to make sure we enter. Oops. And then it is a credit for $2,000. I'm going to do one more, and then I'm going to pause it and finish out the rest of the journal. So we have phone expense. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm missing one. Office supplies. So we have October 5th. Office supplies for $250. Then accounts payable. So we already have October listed once. So we're going to do the date, where we got it from, and it's $250. And then we're going to balance it, so it's $2,250 in the account so far. Okay, now that everything has been entered into the ledger, let's go through so you can see some of the transactions. So as you can see, we only have the balance in the debit or the credit column. Assets, you will have your balances in the debit column because they have a normal balance of a debit. And so if we look, we have assets, assets, assets. Then here is where we get to liabilities with accounts payable. When we're increasing the accounts payable, for example, when we purchased the bicycle parts in the office equipment, we put those in the credit column. However, on the 12th and the 25th, we're paying down how much we owe, so we're going to put it in the debit column to show that we have decreased the amount, but the balance still goes in the credit column. And then same thing with the repair fees, it's our revenue account, and so we're going to put the balances in the credit column. So the rest are pretty straightforward. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the ending balances in each of these accounts and put them in the trial balance. So here's the trial balance. We're going to put the account, the company name. So in this case, it is the Bike Doctor. I'm going to put trial balance since that's exactly what the form is. And then it is for the month of October. So for month ending October 31st, or 2000. Okay, and then we're going to go by accounts. The easiest way to do this is to use the chart of accounts. So we have cash, bicycle parts, and then you're just going to directly list them right off the chart of accounts like we did for the general ledger. I'm just going to use that and then change it to drawing. You can use either phone expense or telephone expense. Either way, I know what you're trying to show, so that's fine with me. Older editions of the book focused on telephone expense. So now that we have the accounts listed, let me zoom in on this for you. We need to put the account numbers. Again, these are just coming off of the chart of accounts. You will notice assets start with in the 100s. Liabilities are always going to start in the 200s. owner's equity is going to be 300s, and your expenses are going to be 500s with any revenue account in the 400s. That is just so every company is consistent. Okay, so now we have the first part of the trial balance done. Now we're going to have to go back to our general ledger accounts and enter in the total balances. So we have cash total balance of $14,539. I am just going to copy and paste so I don't accidentally mistype. That is quite a frequent mistake. Numbers are transposed or students forget a zero. So I find it's just easier to copy. If you look, we have all the assets in the debit column because they have debit normal balances. Here we get to accounts payable and it has a credit balance. So we're going to put that into the credit column. Some students find it easier to print out or to color code their accounts from the general ledger to the balance sheet or the trial balance, or from the journal to the ledger to the rest of the financial statements. It's really whatever you think would work best for you. Since the drawing has a debit balance, that's going to go in the debit column. So make sure you follow exactly what you have listed on the general ledger. And we're just going to keep transferring the amounts. Expenses have debit balances. Sometimes it might be easier for you just to write down the numbers in the order that they would appear. So 38, 48, 15. Okay, we are almost done with this one. Now we have to total the columns. So to make it easy to see, I'm going to put in a thick bottom border. And then we're just going to total. I'm going to let Excel do the work for me. So I'm going to use their formulas. I'm going to use I believe it is sigma. I'm not very good with the names of the Roman letters. So we're going to press the sum button. And if you notice, it only takes part of it. So we're going to drag it and then drag it down to make sure it covers the entire row. Sorry, the entire column. And so that gives us a debit balance of $17,840. Now we are assuming that the credit side should be the same, so we're just going to add separately just to make sure. This time I'm just going to enter the formula by hand. So it's equals sum. Cash is D10. Even though there's no amount in it, I always include the top one. So it's D10 colon D21. If you notice, there's a blue box around the cells. And then there you go. Both amounts do equal the same, so we know we have everything correct. So if you have any questions when you get started doing this assignment, please let me know.